the fossil fuel industries truly believed the story that they're telling us, then it would behoove them to be lobbying fiercely for these mandates.
Yeah.
And they are not.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart surprised everyone when he announced he was leaving The Daily Show after hosting it for 16 years. Fans were shocked and wanted to know why. In this video, we'll uncover the surprising reason behind his decision and how it changed his life, and maybe even the show forever. But first, let's look at his rise to fame. Just a New York boy. Jon Stewart was born Jonathan Stewart Leibowitz on November 28, 1962 in New York City. He grew up in a family with deep roots and a story that shaped much of who he became. Stewart's father worked as an energy coordinator for the New Jersey Department of the Treasury. His mother balanced roles as a teacher and later as an educational consultant. The family's heritage is Ashkenazi Jewish, with roots in Poland, Ukraine, Belarus, and possibly Lithuania. Remarkably, one of Stewart's grandfathers was born in Manjuli. This city in present-day China adds a unique twist to his family's migration story. The second of 4 sons, Stewart grew up alongside his older brother Lawrence and younger brothers Dan and Matthew. The family lived in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, where Jon experienced both the joys and hardships of childhood. His parents divorced when he was just 11 years old, a pivotal event that significantly influenced his life. After the split, Jon became estranged from his father, a relationship he later described as complicated. As a young man, Stewart grappled with his identity and the baggage of his surname. Growing up, he faced bullying and anti-Semitism, often targeted for his Jewish heritage. These experiences left a mark on him, and Stewart has explained that his decision to change his name was influenced by personal and symbolic reasons, reflecting his complex relationship with his family. Initially, Stewart considered adopting his mother's maiden name, but ultimately decided against it, feeling it would be too pointed a statement toward his father. Instead, he chose to go by his middle name, Stewart, a simpler, less charged decision. By 2001, he legally changed his name to Jon Stewart. This was a move that reflected his desire to chart his own path while quietly distancing himself from the past. In interviews, Stewart has candidly addressed his father's role in his life. Despite the name change, he maintained that it wasn't about rejecting his heritage, but more about reclaiming his sense of self. Even after his father's passing in 2013, Stewart admitted that their relationship remained complex. This underscores how deeply personal and challenging family dynamics can be. Stewart's formative years coincided with some of America's most turbulent times. The Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal dominated headlines, fueling his natural skepticism toward authority. He later credited these events with shaping his worldview and his razor-sharp ability to question official narratives. During high school, Stewart found himself drawn to progressive ideas and figures like Eugene Debs, an influential socialist leader. He described himself as a bit of a leftist, a political leaning that would later inform much of his commentary on The Daily Show. However, it wasn't all heavy topics for the young Stewart. He also worked at a Woolworths store alongside his older brother Lawrence. This is a memory he recalls with both humor and a hint of trauma, as Lawrence once fired him. Stewart's childhood wasn't without its hardships, but it was also filled with moments that hinted at the performer he would become. He often joked about his upbringing, finding humor in the struggles he faced. He credited television producer Norman Lear, the creator of iconic shows like All in the Family, as one of his earliest inspirations. Lear's ability to mix comedy with sharp social commentary resonated deeply with Stewart. This planted the seeds for his own approach to tackling big issues with humor. Growing up in Lawrenceville, Stewart encountered frequent bullying because of his Jewish identity. The anti-Semitism he faced was a painful part of his childhood, but also a source of resilience. Instead of letting it define him negatively, Stewart used his experiences to fuel his wit and perspective. This developed the sharp sense of humor that would later become his trademark. Stewart has often reflected on these early challenges, noting how they helped him build a thicker skin and a unique outlook on the world. His ability to laugh in the face of adversity became a hallmark of his personality and later his career. College years and his comedy beginnings. After graduating from Lawrence High School in 1980, Jon took his curiosity and wit to the College of William and Mary. Initially, he pursued a major in chemistry, but soon found his true interests lay elsewhere. Stewart switched to psychology. This perhaps hinted at his later knack for understanding human behavior and delivering sharp, socially aware comedy. While at William and Mary, Stewart joined the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity, but quickly found that fraternity life wasn't for him. Within 6 months, he disassociated himself from the group, a decision reflective of his independent streak. Beyond the classroom, Stewart found success on the soccer field. He was a 3-year starter for the Tribe men's soccer team from 1981 to 1983, contributing 10 goals and 12 assists during his tenure. Under his involvement, the team achieved an impressive record of 40-15-9. His former coach, Al Albert, described Stewart as athletic, feisty, and quick. He noted that while he wasn't the most technical player, he had a knack for making things happen on the field. In 1984, Stewart graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. Decades later, his alma mater honored him with an honorary Master of Arts degree. They recognized his contributions to entertainment and social commentary. After college, Stewart dabbled in a wide variety of jobs, many of which reflected his willingness to adapt and explore. From being a contingency planner for the New Jersey Department of Human Services to working as a puppeteer for children with disabilities, Stewart wore many hats. He also worked as a soccer coach at Gloucester High School in Virginia, a caterer, a shelf stocker at Woolworth's, and a bartender at the Franklin Corner Tavern in Lawrence. Among these roles, his time at City Gardens, a nightclub in Trenton, New Jersey, stood out as particularly transformative. Reflecting on the experience, Stewart said, "Finding this place, City Gardens, was like, oh, maybe I'm not a giant weirdo. Maybe other people have a similar sense of yearning for something other than what they have now." This vibrant and creative environment inspired Stewart and helped solidify his interest in pursuing a comedy career. In 1986, Stewart returned to New York City with a dream of making it as a comedian. However, it wasn't until 1987 that he found the courage to step onto the stage. He made his debut at the Bitter End, a venue famous for launching the careers of comedy greats like Woody Allen. Adopting the stage name Jon Stewart, he dropped his last name and altered the spelling of his middle name. Stewart joked that the change was because Leibowitz sounded too Hollywood or was difficult to pronounce. But the decision was also tied to his complicated relationship with his father. Stewart became a regular at the Comedy Cellar, performing nightly at 2 a.m. for 2 years. It was here, in these late-night slots, that he honed his comedy style. He blended sharp observational humor with a self-deprecating charm that would later become his signature. In 1989, Stewart landed his first television job as a writer for Caroline's Comedy Hour. This opportunity opened the door to hosting gigs, starting with short attention span theater on Comedy Central in 1990. 2 years later, Stewart hosted MTV's short-lived You Wrote It, You Watch It, a show where viewers submitted stories to be acted out by a comedy troupe. Although these early television experiences were modest, they helped Stewart build his reputation as a talented and versatile performer. Stewart's big break came on March 6, 1992, during an appearance on NBC's Late Night with David Letterman. His performance impressed both audiences and industry insiders. It solidified his status as a rising star in comedy. While Stewart was considered a potential replacement for Letterman when he left the show, the role ultimately went to Conan O'Brien, then a relatively unknown writer. Despite missing out on the late-night gig, Stewart continued to build his television career. In 1993, he co-hosted MTV Spring Break '93 Blind Date with Melissa Rivers, showcasing his ability to engage young audiences with humor and charisma. The Jon Stewart Show. In 1993, Jon Stewart made a bold move into television by creating The Jon Stewart Show, a talk show that debuted on MTV. This program broke new ground as MTV's first foray into the talk show format. It became an instant success, resonating with the network's young, music-loving audience. In fact, The Jon Stewart Show quickly rose to become MTV's second highest-rated program. It was trailed only by the wildly popular animated series Beavis and Butthead. With Stewart's signature humor and charm, the show carved out a unique niche in the crowded world of talk television. The format was unconventional, much like its host. Stewart brought a fresh, irreverent energy to the screen. The show featured interviews, comedy sketches, and musical guests that appealed to the younger demographic. Despite its success on MTV, the show's run on the network was relatively short-lived. In 1994, Viacom, the parent company of both Paramount and MTV, saw an opportunity to expand The Jon Stewart Show. At the time, the Arsenio Hall show had been canceled, and there was an opening in the late-night television landscape. Paramount launched a syndicated hour-long version of The Jon Stewart Show. They hoped to capitalize on Stewart's growing popularity. However, this transition proved challenging. Many local affiliates that had previously aired the Arsenio Hall show during its decline slotted Stewart's program into the same unfavorable 2 a.m. time slots. This late-night burial made it difficult for the show to maintain its audience. While Stewart brought his trademark wit and personality to the syndicated version, the ratings were disappointing. Ultimately, the show was canceled in June 1995, marking a bittersweet end to Stewart's first major television project. Though the syndicated version of The Jon Stewart Show struggled, it left a lasting impression on fans. This included one very influential viewer, David Letterman. As a veteran of the talk show world, Letterman recognized Stewart's talent and potential. In fact, Letterman appeared as the final guest on the show before its cancellation. This demonstrated his admiration for Stewart's work. Not long after, Letterman took his support a step further by signing Stewart to his production company Worldwide Pants. This partnership opened new doors for Stewart and hinted at the next phase of his career. Under Letterman's mentorship, Stewart became a regular guest host for The Late Late Show with Tom Snyder. Stewart's appearances on Snyder's program showcased his quick wit, relatable humor, and ability to connect with audiences. These qualities fueled speculation that Stewart might be tapped to replace Snyder as the show's permanent host. At the time, Stewart's name frequently came up in discussions about the future of CBS's late-night lineup. Industry insiders and fans alike saw him as a natural successor to Snyder, and rumors of his promotion began to swirl. While many believed Stewart was destined to take over Snyder's role, CBS had other plans. Instead of offering Stewart the hosting job for The Late Late Show, they proposed a new time slot that would air after Snyder's program. However, Stewart turned down the offer. This was a decision that reflected his growing sense of direction and confidence in his comedic voice. Though this was a missed opportunity in the traditional late-night hierarchy, it paved the way for Stewart's eventual move to a platform that allowed him to thrive. This period of transition demonstrated his ability to adapt, learn, and wait for the right moment to make his next big move. The cancellation of The Jon Stewart Show and his decision to decline CBS's offer were pivotal moments in Stewart's career. They allowed him to step back, reassess his goals, and prepare for the opportunities that lay ahead. Stewart's experiences on MTV and as a guest host for Snyder helped him refine his comedic style and develop a unique perspective on the world of television. The Daily Show opportunity. In 1998, Jon celebrated a milestone in television history by hosting Elmo-Palooza. This was a special marking 30 years of Sesame Street. This opportunity highlighted Stewart's ability to connect with diverse audiences. It also showcased his growing versatility in entertainment. Around the same time, Stewart made guest appearances on popular sitcoms like The Nanny, Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist, Spin City, and News Radio. That same year, Stewart published his first book, Naked Pictures of Famous People. The book was a collection of humorous short stories and essays that received widespread acclaim. The book quickly became a New York Times bestseller. Around this period, he also founded his production company, Busboy Productions, a nod to his days working as a busboy. Initially, Stewart signed a deal with Miramax to develop projects, though none of these ideas materialized. But after achieving success with The Daily Show, Stewart revitalized Busboy Productions alongside producers Ben Carlin and Rich Corson. This underscored his ambition to create meaningful and engaging content. In 1999, Stewart's career reached new heights when he took over hosting duties for The Daily Show on Comedy Central. He did this following Craig Kilborn's departure. Under Stewart's leadership, The Daily Show evolved into a satirical powerhouse. It masterfully blended humor with a sharp analysis of current events and politics. Stewart's approach to hosting emphasized the absurdities in political discourse and media coverage. His first episode aired on January 11, 1999, and featured actor Michael J. Fox as a guest. Stewart humorously likened the experience to a bar mitzvah. Critics praised Stewart's unique style, which avoided pure cynicism in favor of playful insights that traditional news formats often overlooked. For over 16 years, Stewart helmed The Daily Show, except for a few instances when correspondents like Stephen Colbert and John Oliver filled in. His tenure earned him 20 Primetime Emmy Awards as a writer and producer. It also brought him 2 additional Emmys for producing The Colbert Report. This brought his total to an impressive 22 awards, the most for a male individual in television history. The show's coverage of the U.S. presidential elections in 2000 and 2004 won the prestigious Peabody Awards. The audiobook edition of America, the book, released in 2005, earned a Grammy for Best Comedy Album. Stewart's impact on political satire was undeniable. The Daily Show became a trusted source of news for younger audiences. One of Stewart's most poignant moments on The Daily Show came after the September 11, 2001 attacks. Returning to air on September 20th, Stewart delivered a heartfelt monologue that resonated with viewers. Reflecting on the tragedy, he remarked, "The view from the south of Manhattan is now the Statue of Liberty. You can't beat that." His emotional response exemplified his ability to blend humor and humanity during challenging times. Stewart also used his platform to spotlight significant issues. In 2010, he was credited with helping to raise awareness about the James Zadroga 9/11's Health and Compensation Act, leading to its eventual passage. Stewart's advocacy for 9/11's first responders underscored his commitment to causes beyond comedy. In 2013, Stewart took a brief hiatus from The Daily Show to direct his first film, Rosewater. The project demonstrated Stewart's ability to transition from satire to storytelling. The film premiered to favorable reviews at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2014. Stewart's legacy on The Daily Show was marked by critical acclaim, cultural influence, and a dedication to exploring the intersection of humor and truth. His sequel book, Earth, the Book, A Visitor's Guide to the Human Race, released in 2010, further showcased his team's ability to tackle serious topics with humor and creativity. When Stewart stepped down as host in 2015, his departure marked the end of an era, and it shocked his fans. Why did he leave? Leaving The Daily Show. Jon's departure from The Daily Show in 2015 marked the end of an era of satirical news and political commentary. As the host since 1999, Stewart has transformed the program into a cultural phenomenon. His announcement in February 2015, shocked fans, as many considered him irreplaceable. On February 10, 2015, during a taping of the show, Stewart announced he would be leaving The Daily Show. Comedy Central president Michelle Gainless confirmed his decision in a statement. He praised Stewart's contributions and the legacy he had built. The network later revealed that South African comedian Trevor Noah would succeed him as host. On April 20th, Stewart announced that his final episode would air on August 6, 2015, giving fans a few months to prepare for his departure. In July 2015, it was revealed that Stewart had visited the White House for private meetings with President Barack Obama in October 2011 and February 2014. These meetings, initially unreported, sparked curiosity. On his show, Stewart addressed the reports, noting that the meetings were publicly recorded in the president's visitor logs. He emphasized that he often met with influential figures, including Fox News executive Roger Ailes. Stewart explained that the president encouraged him not to discourage young Americans from engaging with their government. Stewart described himself as skeptically idealistic, balancing humor with a desire for positive change. In June 2015, Stewart made headlines for a rare moment of seriousness following the Charleston church shooting. He opted not to write jokes for his opening monologue. Instead, he expressed deep sadness and reflected on America's racial inequalities. The Confederate flag flies over South Carolina, and the roads are named for Confederate generals, he remarked, calling it racial wallpaper. Stewart dedicated the majority of that night's episode to his guest, Malala Yousafzai, the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate. He described her as an incredible inspiration and said, "To be honest, I don't think there's anyone else in the world I'd rather talk to tonight than Malala." As Stewart's final episode approached, the show planned a grand farewell. On August 5th, comedian Louis C.K., Stewart's longtime friend, was the final guest before the last episode. Louis joked about representing comedy to commend Stewart's achievements. This all added a touch of humor to the bittersweet occasion. The final episode aired on August 6, 2015, and was packed with memorable moments. It featured reunions with former correspondents, including Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, John Oliver, Samantha Bee, and many others who had launched their careers on The Daily Show. The hour-long episode also included cameo clips from public figures Stewart had often critiqued. This included people like Hillary Clinton, John McCain, Chris Christie, and Bill O'Reilly. A pre-taped segment spoofing the iconic long-take scene from Goodfellas gave fans a behind-the-scenes look. It even had a brief appearance by Martin Scorsese himself. The show concluded with a live performance by Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, adding an unforgettable musical finale. After stepping down, Stewart left behind a legacy that reshaped political comedy. Although Trevor Noah brought his unique perspective to the show, fans continued to reflect on Stewart's impact. Known for his ability to balance humor with heartfelt social commentary, Stewart remained a cultural icon. Reflecting on his departure, Stewart explained that it wasn't due to dissatisfaction with the show's success. In one interview, he revealed that he no longer found the same personal fulfillment. "It's not like I thought the show wasn't working anymore," he said. "It was more, yep, it's working, but I'm not getting the same satisfaction." The 2016 election played a role in his decision. He felt he had already covered similar political cycles in the past. Apple Plus and more. Though he left his hosting duties in 2015, his influence remained visible through various projects. Stewart lent his comedic talent to several animated series, including American Dad and The Simpsons. He also appeared in children's television programs, showcasing his versatility in connecting with different audiences. After departing from The Daily Show, Stewart continued to work behind the scenes as an executive producer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. His involvement helped shape the show's political satire, a hallmark of Colbert's hosting style. In addition, Stewart occasionally returned to the spotlight with comedic monologues addressing political and media commentary. This reminded audiences of his sharp wit and perspective. In November 2015, Stewart signed a 4-year deal with HBO to create exclusive content for platforms like HBO Now and HBO Go. The centerpiece of this deal was an ambitious animated project parodying cable news. The team, which included comedy writers and cloud graphics experts, envisioned a satirical, onion-like portal. However, the project faced numerous delays due to the technical challenges of producing timely, topical animated content. After several postponements, HBO canceled the project in May 2017, citing production difficulties. Despite the setback, both parties expressed optimism about future collaborations. Later, HBO announced that Stewart would produce a stand-up comedy special, his first since 1996. Unfortunately, the special never materialized, leaving fans eager for Stewart's return to stand-up comedy. However, Stewart remained active in live comedy, teaming up with Dave Chappelle for a US and UK comedy tour in 2018. The duo's performances were widely praised for their blend of humor and insight. Stewart also explored his passion for directing. Speaking on the podcast Employee of the Month, he explained how his experience on The Daily Show shaped his approach to directing. He emphasized the importance of collaboration and clarity of vision. His second directorial effort, Irresistible, premiered in June 2020. The film was a political satire. The film starred Steve Carell as a Democratic strategist helping a veteran, Chris Cooper, run for mayor in a small Wisconsin town. While the movie received mixed reviews, it highlighted Stewart's interest in exploring political themes through a new medium. In 2021, Stewart launched The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV+. The series featured hour-long episodes that delved into single, in-depth topics. These topics were things like veterans' healthcare, systemic racism, and climate change. The show combined investigative journalism with his trademark humor. Despite receiving critical acclaim for its thoughtful approach, the series ended after 2 seasons. Reports suggested creative disagreements with Apple over topics like China and artificial intelligence contributed to the cancellation. The decision drew criticism, including from the U.S. House Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. Jon Stewart's reputation as a political commentator led to unexpected suggestions about his potential candidacy for president. In July 2022, an op-ed in Politico proposed that Stewart could be a strong Democratic candidate for the 2024 election. Stewart humorously dismissed the idea on Twitter, stating, no thank you. While the suggestion went viral, it underscored the respect many have for his ability to cut through political noise with clarity and humor. In 2023, Stewart returned to live comedy at the Netflix Is a Joke Festival in Los Angeles. His performance demonstrated his enduring ability to engage audiences and address contemporary issues with sharp humor. I'm back. In January 2024, Jon made an exciting announcement. He was returning to The Daily Show as the weekly Monday guest host starting on February 12, 2024. This news thrilled fans who had missed Stewart's unique blend of humor and political commentary since his departure in 2015. But that wasn't all. Stewart's return was also accompanied by the news that he would serve as executive producer for all Daily Show episodes through 2025. This marked a big shift for the show, as Stewart's return promised to bring back some of the energy and insight that made the show so popular during his initial run. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. With the 2024 U.S. presidential election heating up, there was no shortage of political drama to cover. Stewart's return to the airwaves was especially impactful, as the election was becoming a key topic in American politics. The election was already shaping up to be a contentious and historic event, and Stewart was the perfect voice to help guide audiences through it all. When Stewart came back to The Daily Show, it wasn't just for an occasional guest appearance. his role was clearly defined as a weekly Monday host, which allowed him to have a regular, steady presence on the show, while the search for a full-time host continued. Stewart's return immediately brought a surge of attention to The Daily Show. On the night of his big comeback, 1.9 million viewers tuned in across Paramount's platforms, with 930,000 of those viewers watching on Comedy Central. The following week, 1.3 million viewers watched on Comedy Central alone, making it the largest audience the show had seen since Stewart's final episode in 2015. His return didn't just excite longtime fans, it also drew in new viewers eager to hear his take on current events. The return of Stewart to the show also boosted ratings. It also injected a sense of purpose back into The Daily Show. For years, the show had struggled to find its footing after Stewart's departure. While other guest hosts had filled in, none had been able to replicate Stewart's balance of humor, intellect, and political savvy. His return brought a sense of continuity and gravitas that made the show feel relevant again, especially with the intensity of the 2024 election season. As Stewart's role as guest host continues through 2024 and 2025, it's clear that his influence on The Daily Show is far from over. His return isn't just about ratings, it's about restoring a sense of purpose and direction to the show. While the search for a full-time host continues, Stewart's impact is undeniable. Whether it's his comedic monologues, his return to political satire, or his role as an executive producer, Jon Stewart is once again a force to be reckoned with in the world of late-night television. Jon Stewart's original departure from The Daily Show shocked fans, but his return in 2024 speaks volumes about the state of the world. With politics more intense than ever, Stewart's comeback is a powerful statement, reminding us of the importance of humor and perspective in navigating today's chaos. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates. Thanks for watching.